Okay, we are set up at Fallbrook, runway 18, ready for departure. I have already set up the G1000. The flight plan I had to import because on the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, there's no provision for user waypoints. So I had to do this on my Navigraph and import the flight plan from there, even though it's a VFR flight plan. So you'll see user waypoint 1, which is, actually that's Weston, but it's user waypoint 1 on the import, and then user 2 is UCI. As you can see, I said for Weston, I want to be there at 6,500, and by UCI, I want to be at 1,200. I also plugged in a flight path angle of -4 degrees, a little bit more aggressive than usual, but that's to give me a top of descent that's a little bit closer to UCI in case I have problems getting to my top of descent, or top of climb rather, at Weston. Depends on how long it takes me to climb. So because I want to get to 6,500, we'll crank this up to 6,500, and I'm going to set the flight level change mode to do this at, let's say, really? That's all I got? Let's do this at 90 knots. So that I'll be safe. I'm not going to start running too slowly. And we'll set the heading at, I think that wants to be at 350. So we'll put that right at 350 to get us to less than 351. Close enough for me. All right, that's good. Let's turn that off. I've zoomed this in a little bit. How we doing here? Turn off this stuff. We'll go to flaps 2 for takeoff. Beacons on, strobes on, nav is on, taxi and landing lights. Everything is on. Parking brake is off. And we're ready to go. Speeds live, 30 knots, 40 knots, 50 knots, 55, West Virginia, and we are off. up and descend, so it marked that out for us. We're doing pretty well. We're going to hit top and descent or top and climb without a problem, I think. Take a look outside. Yeah, looks like California. Cessna 172. Started flying the Cirrus SR-22 Turbo last week. That's a lot of fun. Boy, is it fast. Much faster. You have to really get the funny airplane with that. Things big bump in quickly. Alright, we are at 8 miles, 7.8 miles out. Good. So kind of the magic in what I did here was associated with configuring these altitudes. So I'm telling the autopilot I want to be at 6,500 and 1,200 respectively, and I want to descend at a particular flight path angle on a real G1000. I could define my target speed that I wanted to descend at. You can see top and descents in 10 minutes. That's counting down. But in the simulator here, I don't have that capability, which kind of stinks. Also, in the real unit, as you probably know, you can configure the along track offset, and that's really cool. But in the simulator, we do not yet have along track offset support, and we don't have the user-defined waypoints. So that's really the magic there. We probably should. And so if we get up to 6,500, base throttle. I'm just going to need this the old-fashioned way. Not the best to maximize your RPMs, but it'll do. Nice. Look at what all this stuff is. It's like a water tank. Alright, just about at top of the clock. And that's when we're going to. Okay, so we've got altitude select mode, and it's coming down. Throttle a little bit. I'm usually down upper 2300s for Skyhawk. Just so now we're going to build some speed, and so the next thing I'm going to do here is we've got our target altitude 6,500 feet. So in order to use vertical path, vertical navigation, I need to tell it an altitude that is lower than my current altitude. So I'm going to set that to 1,200 because that's what you wanted when you got to UCI. Now in the real world, I might want to set this to an even lower, or that same value, but prior to UCI. So I might say, get me to 1,200 2 miles prior to UCI, and that's where the a long track offset comes in, but I can't do that. So I'm just going to reduce my altitude here to 1200, just like that, so you can see my altitude up here. And then I'm going to click on VPath or VNAV. So VNAV, when I click on that, brings up VPath up on top. So VPath is armed, and you can see my top of descent is right over here, and it wants me to take a top of descent basically now. Top of descent, bingo. It's going to give me a bottom of descent in 14.5 minutes. So VPath is now active, and I need to reduce throttle so that it can meet my descent target of 4 degrees. And you can see we're descending. One thing I do also like to do is to monitor my vertical deviation. So my VDEV right now is 0, or maybe it flits around for a few degrees over or under. So that gives me a good sense of how well I'm doing in terms of being on my vertical profile. So that looks really good. Got 112 indicated on the speed tape. Altitude's coming down. GPS mode is active. Autopilot's on. Everything looks fabulous. Come over the mountains here, and when we get to UCI, we'll turn right. Head for the port package. That's 1200. I just printed it. So that's how we set up VNAV. You can see it erases the altitude for user waypoint 1 since that leg is behind us. And we're now looking at bottom of descent in about 13 minutes. So everything is working out just as we want. Elsinore looks nice. And there is VOC in front of us. We'll fly right between these two here. Can't remember what that peak is called. I looked it up. That's something like, I think that's the highest elevation around here. I should know these things, but it's been too long now. See how our feet. 230, not bad at all. We're on the Trent line. I was eyeballing this route back when I first flew it, first gave it to me. Flew very close to the peak of that mountain, just for fun. Still descending at be interesting doing this in fog. I'm sure I would attempt that. John Wayne Tower, Skyhawk, November 223, Pop Alpha over UCI, right base for runway 20 left, full stop. Clear to land at runway 20 left, 223 Pop Alpha. Turn off the autopilot here. So we're coming off gas. Cut engine. To 0.8. One two 0.8 for ground. It's 223 Pop Alpha. John Wayne ground, Skyhawk 223 Pop Alpha, vacated 20 left, looking for parking at signature. signature via Alpha Bravo Charlie Skyhawk G23 Pop Alpha. I just made that up. I have no idea if we ever even have a signature here. It's probably behind me since I didn't get a crossover. Oh well, let's pretend it's over here. I do not know this airport. They're not going to like this, mind you. But, you know. Oh, there's a problem. How come I didn't get a instruction to cross? Don't know where Charlie is. I don't have my charts open. Nice. Martin Aviation. I think the FBO is over here somewhere, isn't it? No idea. Let's go to where the airplanes are. Helistream. I think that's where I took my infamous helicopter lesson all those many years ago. Next to this guy here. Yeah, that was good. Mixture down. Throttles idle. Lights off. Mags off. Avionics off. And there's our flight. Cool.